AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. For those of you who worked today, I know a lot of people had the day off because of the threat of weather, but like so often happens in these parts, they shut everything down. Ends up being a beautiful day. Canceled the day for sunshine. That was cold. I ain't gonna lie, it was cold. But thankfully, certainly here in the southern part of the state, largely was spared from a lot of the ice and the damage. But a lot of people in the northern part of the state, I know some parts of northern Mississippi and other parts of the region of the country have really been negatively affected with damaged property and infrastructure. And so our prayers are with everyone and hope that everyone sincerely did make it through okay. Property, physically, everything. So we're glad to be here, though, and truck along. If you are spending the day and maybe just cooped up in the house with nowhere to go, nothing to do, thanks for being here, man. Turn up the radio, turn on the TV, on WBTR, YouTube, wherever you may be. We're glad to have you hanging out with us, so thanks for being here today. All right. We've mentioned a lot of mock drafts are starting to roll, considering you've got the start of Senior Bowl week this week. The Combine's right around the bend. A lot of teams, there's 30 NFL teams that are starting to prepare for 2026. There's only 2 more preparing for another game, of course, the Patriots and Seahawks for Super Bowl 60. But what you're starting to see is a lot of mock drafts, and a lot of mock drafts have the New Orleans Saints selecting Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. Now, I am very, 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 very opposed to that approach. And it is not to suggest that Jeremiah Love is not a good football player. It is only to suggest I cannot be okay under most any circumstance taking a running back with the 8th overall pick. It's just a position, as we've seen, that has been dramatically devalued in this era. And with that being the case, it's so hard to justify that. Now, I don't want to be the guy that sits here and says, don't do that without providing a solution. Because I think what we can agree is that New Orleans needs a viable solution at running back. Alvin Kamara will be 31 this fall. We hope that Devin Neal gets healthy, stays healthy, and can maybe be a gem that you found in round 6. I think Audric Estime had a nice finish to the season. Do we believe that any of those options are solid options for the next 3 to 5 years? I don't know that I could say that definitively about any of them. So you're looking for an option. Well, I have one. And actually, PFF put out a piece for the best landing spots for the top free agents. And they look at like Kenneth Walker and Mike Evans and George Pickens and Malik Willis and Tyler Linderbaum and a lot of these top free agents. Well, they do project one player among the top free agents going to the New Orleans Saints. And that is running back Breece Hall of the Jets. They note that a myriad of injuries in the backfield left the Saints running game underwhelming. 31st in the PFF rushing grade this season. Just 3.4 yards per attempt on design runs. 31st in the NFL. Just 6.5% of runs went for 10 or more yards. That was the lowest in the NFL. Saints were a bad offense this year. They mentioned enter Breece Hall. Career year in 2025, his PFF grade was an 83.5, 26 explosive runs. And the Saints, by the way, led the NFL with inside zone usage at 35%, one spot ahead of the Jets, of course, who utilized Breece Hall in that role. So, not only is this a good young player, but a player that would also tend to fit what New Orleans would do. Now, I'm going to pause. I'm going to come back to how they make Breece Hall make sense and make it work. But I want to again illustrate why I do not believe you need to make the investment of a first-round pick and a running back. A lot of this, I think, are things that you probably know, but when I illustrate this, it's going to make it even clearer. If you look at first-round picks at running back, like let's just go back in the last decade and a half or so and look at first-round running backs by year. Ashton Genty went 6th overall this year. The Raiders were the worst team in the NFL. I'm not suggesting it's because of Ashton Genty. I'm suggesting that even with taking Ashton Genty 6th overall, it didn't impact your offense positively. The Chargers took Amarian Hampton 22nd overall, another first-round running back. Now, the Chargers were a playoff team, but Hampton scored just 4 times and averaged 4 yards a carry. Falcons used a top 10 pick on Bijan Robinson, went 8th overall. And Bijan Robinson, I think we would all objectively agree, is a dynamic offensive player. Can we all agree on that? And the Falcons also just fired their coach. Jahmyr Gibbs was the 12th overall pick when he went to Detroit in 2023. He's been a very good player. Najee Harris was a first-rounder in 2021, as was Travis Etienne, one pick later, 24th and 25th overall in that 2021 draft. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a first-rounder in 2020, didn't finish out his rookie deal in Kansas City. Go back to Josh Jacobs in 2019. Saquon was the 2nd overall pick in 2018. Rashad Penny, Sony Michel, Leonard Fournette. Christian McCaffrey was the 8th overall pick in 2017. Zeke, 4th overall in 2016. You get the point. Bottom line is, I'm just illustrating what you already know. Running backs are devalued. There's no sense in using the 8th overall pick on a running back. So, what would a deal for Breece Hall look like? Let's start with financially, okay? And this is courtesy of Spotrac. They do a good job putting all these numbers out there and everything. If you look at the market value, they put for Breece Hall a projected contract at $10.4 million average annual salary, 4 years, $41.5 million. 4 years, $41.5 million, average annual value of $10.4 million. For context, the contract that Alvin Kamara signed pays him, at age 29, by the way, pays him an average annual value of $12.25 million. You would be getting Breece Hall entering his age 25 season. Breece Hall's 24. He'll turn 25 on May 31st. On that projection, you could get Breece Hall, 25 years old, on a 4-year deal, paying him less in average annual value than you're paying Alvin Kamara, who you signed at 29 years old. It is affordable. He is young. And, oh, by the way, Breece Hall has also been a durable running back. He played in 7 games his rookie year, played in all 17 games in his second year, and then each of the last 2 years he's played in 16 games. So he is affordable, young, and durable. Check, check, check. Yes, please. You can give me a guy that's a young veteran, proven to be an efficient, effective running back in the NFL, so you eliminate that question, is effective in the offense you run with the inside zone schemes, and you don't have to use a top 10 pick? which you could then in turn use on a receiver, an edge rusher, a cornerback. Yeah, absolutely do that. It proves, again, that you can get running back value outside of a top 10 pick. Breece Hall was a high second-round pick. He was 36th overall when they took him in the 2022 draft. And if New Orleans wanted to wait and use a second-round pick on a running back, I'm okay with that. But the opportunity with the 8th overall pick should be reserved to get a player of value which you cannot equal in round 2, cannot likely equal in round 2. If you have the opportunity to select an elite edge rusher, 8th overall, you do it because those guys are not there with a 30s or 40s pick. Do you sometimes find Trey Hendrickson? Yes, but that's an outlier. It's why we can call to mind Trey Hendrickson because it's so rare you would find an NFL sack leader in round 3. You have the opportunity to draft Arvell Reese, you draft Arvell Reese. You have the opportunity to draft an elite level corner. It's why you don't see Derek Stingley hit free agency. If at 8 you decide Mansour Delane is your pick, or McCoy from Tennessee, or whomever is the elite level corner in this draft that you need to pair opposite Sugarwater McKinstry so you have a true number 1 and let McKinstry go be what he is, which is a number 2. Great, do that. Don't use a top 10 pick on a running back. And again, that is not a knock on Jeremiah Love. It is a referendum on the value of that position in today's NFL. So, if you give me the option of using the 8th overall pick on Jeremiah Love or signing Breece Hall to a contract, a 4-year, $41.5 million deal, give me Breece Hall 100 times out of 100. It'll be a big off-season talking point as we look at what the Saints are going to do to fortify and build an offense around their dynamic young quarterback, Tyler Shuck. And running back's going to be a spot that they got to address. All right, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, oh yeah, they do shutters too. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Stick around, we'll continue on AFR.
After further review.
Well, when it's 33 degrees outside, it's hard to try to sell you a pool. But actually, this might be the perfect time to try to sell you a pool. Because when it's freezing, we allow our mind to wander what it's like when you have that backyard paradise. As a matter of fact, last night on our LouisianaSports.net group chat, was mentioning I'd rather 110 degrees over 10 degrees any day. And I said, because when it's 110, I could pour me a tequila, grab me an ice cold Bud Light, and go hang out in my pool. Get some natural vitamin D, get in the water, have a cocktail, enjoy the day outside. When it's this cold, brother, you ain't doing nothing outside. So, you want to build that outdoor paradise? Duplessis Builders can help. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
If you're just joining, missed it earlier, little bit of news today. Diana Rossini reported that Charlie Weiss Jr. did, in fact, speak with the Philadelphia Eagles about their vacant OC job. He has declined, however. He will stay at LSU. We talked about that in the open of the show today. If you missed it, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org, YouTube podcast. You'll find it there. But ultimately, I think what we're looking at is a reality where this is going to become a pretty consistent part of the annual offseason conversation around Charlie Weiss. The more success LSU continues to have offensively is at 32 years old, he's going to be more and more in demand. The Jackson Dart connection made the Giants flirtation make sense. The Eagles coming, however, it just speaks to the more broad level of interest that teams and programs and organizations are going to have in Charlie Weis. He's just going to be one of those names, kind of like Joe Brady had very quickly became one of those names. So just something to file away. The other interesting thing, obviously, is on Friday, Jordan Seaton picking LSU, making that official. I did have a conversation via text on Monday to confirm that Seaton will be enrolled in the spring semester. So I had someone familiar with the program, let's say it that way, who I texted this morning to ask that specifically because the deadline to enroll in the spring semester passed last week. And this person told me, yes, that Seaton is expected on campus this week and will be enrolled. I know there was a photo of Seaton and Lane Kiffin with a car. That, and many assume that photo was taken today. I believe that photo was taken during Seaton's visit last week. I don't think that was a new photo. I'll try to get confirmation on that. But all that to say and to suggest that Seaton will be enrolled for spring, will be able to go through spring football. I know that was a question. And I had another source within the program tell me the way this person said it was, when there's great alignment, you can move mountains. And I think I tweeted that quote earlier. And, I think what it very clearly suggests and what it illustrates is what you've seen, how LSU was able to get Lane Kiffin hired, build the staff the way he did, and build this transfer portal class, because you have been aligned. I certainly think that LSU, to many, will sell itself. I think Lane Kiffin is certainly appealing to many. I think money is appealing to many. When you have all three of those, you end up landing the type of portal class LSU did, and you have all three of those because of the alignment that you do have. And that should sound or seem pretty obvious, but just think about what we just saw transpire. Where, when Lane Kiffin was hired, he was asked the question about Verge Osbury. So, what struck you about your conversation with Verge? He said, "I'm gonna let you do your job and get out of the way." But I think it's pretty clear they followed that path, and everything that Kiffin has wanted, they have given to him. He wanted Charlie Weis when it looked like Weis may stay in Oxford. They bumped him from $2 million to $2.5 million. Lane Kiffin wanted to retain Blake Baker. Well, they pushed Blake's salary up to $3 million a year to keep him from going to Tulane. He also had an offer from Memphis. Lane wanted to go sign this portal class, and I'm here to tell you, brother, whatever budget they told him or thought they had when Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock showed up, they blew that budget out the water on this portal class, because everything he wanted, they found a way to give it to him, including taking Jordan Seaton to the governor's mansion, the governor making phone calls to donors on LSU's behalf to try to get money raised for this portal class so they could get everything they wanted. I mean, you want to talk about alignment from Kiffin to Verge to Wade Roos, the board of supervisors, the governor, like the whole thing. It's how you pull something like this together. Now, I said, I was doing Morning Scone yesterday, and I said, now, championships aren't won in January. And then I paused and was like, well, actually, championships quite literally are won in January. Like, the championship game is in January. So, yes, the championship is won in January. But I think you understand the point that I'm making, which is LSU had the number one portal class a year ago, and they went 7-6. So if you're meeting this right now with some trepidation, some cautious optimism, I don't blame you. But I will say, here's the big difference between what LSU did a year ago with their number one portal class and this year with their portal class. A year ago, that portal class was built around largely one-year mercenaries. Dudes that were coming in with 1 year of eligibility remaining. They were getting paid, and LSU was all in to try to win a championship behind their veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. You had Nussmeier returning. after a season where he was the leading returning passer in college football, and you went and signed a bunch of dudes that had 1 year of eligibility. Josh Thompson, Berrien Brown, Bauer Sharp, Jack Pyburn, Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler, A.J. Halsey, Bernard Gooden. All these dudes had 1 year of eligibility remaining. So in a class of 18, 8 of the 18 had 1 year. And then you had guys like Mansour Delane, who you knew were going to be, one and done off to the league. And then they thought Braylon Moore would be a one and done, but Moore is back, thankfully. But all that to say, in a class of 18 transfers, 8 had 1 year of eligibility remaining. This year, you signed 42 transfers. Do you know how many of the 42 have 1 year of eligibility remaining? 4. 4 of the 42 have 1 year of eligibility remaining. You look at what they very intentionally did was build around guys who are going to make an immediate impact, but also have multiple years of eligibility remaining. So next year at this time, you're not signing another class of 40 transfers. Now, you're going to lose some guys to the NFL, right? Like Jordan Seaton has 2 years of eligibility remaining, but I don't think anyone thinks he's coming here for multiple years. If he's here for multiple years, it's because something went very wrong this year. And, knock on wood, nobody wants to see that happen. Sam Levitt could certainly be here for 1 year. Has a great season. He could be off to the NFL. Alou Ba, who's coming in from Maryland, was a top 100 player, signed with Georgia. After one season, went to Maryland. 2-year starter at Maryland. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining, but it's his 4th year of school. He'll be a third-year starter this year at LSU. He very likely could be done after this season. Or maybe not. All that to say, yes, they're going to lose more than just those 4 guys with 1 year of eligibility, but you're going to retain way more with depth, and depth not just from high school guys that are 18 and haven't played that you're trying to build your depth. You're bringing in guys that have already played. So, for example, of the 42, this was the breakdown. 4 have 1 year of eligibility remaining. 16 have 2 years of eligibility remaining. 15 have 3 years of eligibility remaining. And 7 have 4 years of eligibility remaining. There were 7 players that just finished their freshman season, redshirted, transferred, and have 4 years left. So 31 of your 42 have either 2 or 3 years of eligibility remaining. So it's guys that have played major college football. Guys that are 20, 21 years old that have played major college football and still have multiple years remaining. That's how you build quality depth. How does Indiana build a team with a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds? That's how. You're not slowly building with 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds from high school. You're building with guys that have played a year or two of college football that are going to be here for a year or two, and so you're not having massive turnover every year. The other thing I think that was critically important is what they did at quarterback, and I'm not just talking about adding Sam Levitt. I'm talking about how they spaced out the quarterbacks that they signed. So keep in mind, Sam Levitt has 2 years of eligibility remaining. He redshirted his first season at Michigan State, played the last 2 years at Arizona State. Now he's in his 4th year of school and could have an amazing year and go pro. But if he wants to play 2 years at LSU, he can. That's number one. Landon Clark redshirted, then played 12 games this year at Elon. He's got 3 years of eligibility remaining. So Levitt's got 2. Landon Clark's got 3. And then Husan Longstreet, 5-star, who redshirted as a freshman this year at Southern Cal, has 4 years of eligibility remaining. So Levitt with 2, Clark with 3, Longstreet with 4. You have reset your quarterback room by classification. Whereas you never want to miss a year of signing a high school quarterback, but LSU has missed 2 years of signing a high school quarterback. And the guy you signed 3 years ago, Ricky Collins, is already left. Or Colin Hurley, and then Collins before him. So you've now basically gone a full 4-year cycle, and you're sitting here without any of those guys on campus. So that is a really that puts you in a really vulnerable spot. But it's commendable that what this staff did not only went and added a true starter and then really good depth, they did it representing 3 different classifications. So you have guys with 2, 3, and 4 years of eligibility remaining. You basically rebuilt appropriately the depth in that quarterback room. So, man, I look at the way that they strategized and did this, and it's so impressive how they were able to pull it all together. And Seaton being the gigantic cherry on top of this class, which was already epic. And then you add, a franchise left tackle. And so you look at what was the worst position group on your team a year ago on the offensive line. Now you look at getting Braylon Moore back at center, Jordan Seaton at left tackle, Aliu Ba, I'm sorry, I've been saying Aliu, it's Alu, I believe is how he says it, Aliu Ba at right guard, you've been a 2-year starter at Maryland. That's 3 spots solidified. And Weston Davis is back, who started for you at right tackle this year. And certainly I know Weston Davis had his struggles, but this staff thought enough of him to want to retain him, and they did. So whether he's starting at right tackle or competing for a job, whatever, that's a guy that's got double-digit starts in the SEC, or for an SEC team, I should say, coming back. And then on top of that, you look at Tompkins from Baylor coming in. You look at a guy like Jaquan Sprinkle from NC Central. I get it, it's FCS, but that's a guy who's been a starter for 2 years in college football. He's got more than 20 starts under his belt, right? Jacoby Jones, who was a starter at the JUCO level for 2 years coming in. You could look at a guy like William Satterwhite from Tennessee, who's been a 2-year backup there at Tennessee at center, could play center guard and give you great depth, back up Braylon Moore, maybe win a spot. Who knows? You've got, a 5-star in Solomon Thomas, who redshirted last year, who's back, who could play guard or tackle. All that to say, you go into this year with 3 starting spots solidified, maybe 4. And you've got a handful of guys that have either have experience of playing major college football or super highly thought of. So as the biggest issue that LSU had this season, I would argue, in 25 was, man, Tyree Adams goes down. What do you do at left tackle? You take DJ Chester and put him at left tackle. The guy played center for you. Taking a center and kicking him out to left tackle just because he was your most experienced lineman. Now, God forbid, but if for whatever reason Jordan Seaton isn't available at left tackle, well, now you've got Tompkins from Baylor, who played 10 games with 5 starts at left tackle in the Big 12 this year. You're taking a guy that is a left tackle and putting him at left tackle as your backup, and might be your starting left guard this year. So it's very clear that Kiffin and Billy Glasscock had a plan. They had a plan and approach of how they evaluated and how they wanted to fill those spots on this roster, and they nailed it. Now, you got to coach them up. You got to get buy-in. You got to get a team-first mentality. You got to go game plan. You got to go win. But there's no excuses because you've got the roster to do it on both sides of the ball. They have given Lane Kiffin everything he wants. The alignment is there to give him everything he wants. And so now, go do some high school recruiting, get set for spring football here in a couple of months, and start the expectation build to 2026. Because my goodness, with this type of roster, the expectations are going to be outsized, and that is a justified expectation for a team considering all of the resources they have been given due to the alignment that they have throughout this entire organization right now. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. You can always email us, tweet us, or text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. You can get involved in the show. Jimmy's here for Otterlocks in about 15 minutes. We'll get to what we learned from the NFC and AFC championship games this weekend. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Our friends over at Goodwood are closed today, but they're going to be reopened on Tuesday. And I want to remind you as we start at the new year, if you've already started to fade on your New Year's resolution to lose weight, get in shape, feel better, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. And I want to remind you, it's not just ED treatments. So many people hear the name, see the logo, and it's funny, and I get it, and it's attention-grabbing, but they do so much more than just ED. Hormone replacement therapy is something men, women, you should get your blood labs drawn to see if you're a candidate. Peptide therapy I've told you about, it's been life-changing for me for my back. BPC 157. I also take NAD+. Cellular optimization, energy levels through the roof with NAD+. And remember, it's not just good wood, but they got unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. And unique physique, that's the GLP-1s. A GLP-1, by the way, is a peptide. They can help you on your journey to lose weight. Visit them online, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Get them windows, y'all, over at Relief Windows. My godmother texted me earlier today. She said, "Are you still endorsing Relief Windows?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am, forever and always, as long as Brandon Holly will let me." Great people. Y'all give them a shout, 288-8138, 288-8138, 288-8138, or go to reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding, they do shutters too. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. All right, we always tell you what we're keeping an eye on during the football weekend. We come back and do what we learn. Let's do it.
We watched. Now, let's review.
All right, there's only 2 games, but we peeled back the layers of the onion and found some things to watch. Break it up, Muse. What you got?
All right, yeah. We were watching. We were watching Will Campbell against that vaunted Denver pass rush, and it wasn't a perfect day, but Pro Football Focus, no sacks given up by Will Campbell on 64 offensive snaps. Did give up a hit on the quarterback, a hurry, and 2 pressures, so that drug his grade down a little bit, but no sacks. It's pretty good considering.
Dragged. Not drug. Dragged. It dragged his grade.
Dragged his grade down.
It's
pretty good, though, still. No sacks considering Drake May got sacked 5 times by the Denver defense, but ultimately it didn't matter because, snow.
Informer. No, snowman on the lay. Snow. He's the singer that sang Informer.
Okay.
Snow.
No.
You knew that?
No.
Jesus. Paul, go next. How did you not know that, Paul?
Don't know. Anyway, I was watching the Broncos running game. Broncos didn't do much on offense. Running backs couldn't get much going on the ground. R.J. Harvey led the team with 13 attempts. He only rushed for 37 yards. Jarrett Stidham, second leading rusher with 23 yards. Broncos as a whole rushed for 79 yards on the ground.
Naturally, keeping an eye on Jarrett Stidham, and it's about what you thought. 17 of 31, $133, a touchdown, a pick, sacked 3 times. Not nearly good enough. A QBR of 19.6. But, snow.
Sure.
Informer. Snowman on the lid.
Wanted to see Sam Darnold with the oblique injury. It was there a little bit more there than maybe they were letting on, especially with an injury to Zach Charbonnet, where they're going to have to ask more of Sam Darnold. They did ask more of Sam Darnold, 36 attempts. His oblique was fine, though. Completed 25 of them, 346, 3 tuds, no picks. You saw he could really stretch the field on the first drive when he hit Rashid Shaheed for about 43 yards. So, no, he's fine. He's good. And look out. He's playing really well heading into the Super Bowl.
I was keeping an eye on Sam Darnold's number 1 target. That is Jackson Smith and Jigba. I told you last week that in his 2 games versus the Rams this season, he had 17 catches for 201 yards and a touchdown. Well, this game, he duplicated those numbers. 10 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown.
What's up?
Along with 42. Rashid Shaheed was the second leading receiver. He only had 1 catch for 54 yards.
Big one. Paulie was watching the Denver running game. I was watching the New England running game. And because, snow. If you're not playing Snow Informer by the end of this, I'm going to be really pissed at you. Like, you got to get that rolling. I mean, anyway, the running game, how about this? This is the story, right? Denver, 24 for 79. New England, 38 for $141. Snow. Hit the thing.
We mentioned Zach Charbonnet being out. How would that impact Kenneth Walker? It didn't. He hit his average. He averaged 60 yards on the ground per game in the regular season. He was at 62 for this. What it did impact, though, was the Seattle running game as a whole. Just 75 yards on the ground. Rams defense had a little bit to do with that, too. But definitely missed Charbonnet.
I was watching the Denver defense versus Drake May. The Broncos defense did their part against him for the most part. The Broncos were credited with 7 QB hits, and as Musa mentioned earlier, sacked 5 times. Former Saints Malcolm Rush was credited with a half a sack.
Did you say Malcolm Rush?
I might have. Malcolm Roach.
That was Paul's family right there.
Yeah, there he
See?
is. He got
Another
it.
evidence of I'm not trying to bring up LD. I'm just point being. Sometimes we misspeak, we stumble, we stutter. Malcolm Rush. With Rams and Seahawks, it was a battle of the experienced team. There it is. And this is not the snow game, though. The experienced team or the better team? And ultimately, the better team won at home. Crank it up, yes!
There's no curse words in this, is
No,
there?
you're good.
Okay.
And even if there were, do you think you would recognize them? Have you ever heard this song?
No, I've not heard this song.
You've never heard this song?
I have never heard this song. I didn't know this was a person. Sorry.
Paul, have you ever heard this song? Oh, my God.
It doesn't sound familiar, no.
I can see why people liked it. I mean, it's catchy. It's got a really good beat.
This makes me so sad. I mean, first you tell me you've never heard of the band 311. And now neither of you idiots have ever heard this song. How is that possible? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called you idiots. It's just my own frustration. Like, I don't get how you've never heard this anywhere in your life.
It
Ever
rings
heard this
no
song?
bell, man. Like nothing. I got nothing for you.
I mean, I get it. This was probably 1991, 92. Look it up. Like, it had to be Snow Informer. It had to be 91. And he's a one-hit wonder. Did nothing other than this.
It's
like,
Canadian.
Yes, Snow is Canadian. He actually says that in the song, although you can't understand anything he's saying in the song, which is part of the charm and lure of it, is everyone makes up their own words to it.
92.
92, so it's right on it. So I get it, like why neither of you would have been aware of this song in 1992. But it's one of the great pop hits of that decade among the one-hit wonders that still gets played today at parties and at clubs and on the radio from time to time. Whatever. So mad right now. God, how is it possible? Like, I'm not saying you gotta like it, but I never heard of it. I'm just in the phase of life where I'm transitioning into the old guy. That's just where I am in my life. We're at the Guarantee Party on Saturday. Y'all all went to the casino to go get blitzed, and I went home to go let the babysitter leave and went to bed.
To be fair, we did invite you.
I know.
We were like, come on.
No, I know. I'm saying that. And I was like, I'm not saying I wasn't invited. I'm like, no, that going down to the casino to get blitzed did not sound as appealing as going home and going to bed.
Yeah.
So I went home and went to bed and woke up Sunday and felt great, which is not the case for many of my work brethren, as I learned on Sunday morning. Saturday night was something.
It was a good time, man.
Clearly. Marler told me they went home and Allie popped 3 bags of popcorn and then blamed him for popping popcorn. She didn't realize she was the one who popped the popcorn.
So good.
Hunt Palmer lost his phone in the wall of the closet.
Yeah.
It was vibrating. He couldn't find his phone. He put it in the wall. How do you put something in the wall of a closet?
No idea.
But he did. Alondra said it was the most she drank since she cut her head open falling at a Cody Johnson concert.
Also sounds like a good night.
Did all of you get roofied? What happened?
No,
I went home.
I actually drank more on Friday night before that, but I mean, I had a good time Saturday.
It sounds like everyone did. Glad for it. By the way, this is a song called "Informer" by Snow.
Got it.
Just so you know.
Noted.
I got my what we learned today.
Yeah, for future reference. Oh! You two just constantly disappoint me. I feel like a disappointed parent. You just disappoint me. You make me sad, both of you, all the time. Just make me sad right now. Okay. If you've heard of the band Snow, can you or the rapper Snow, can you just text me or tweet me and tell me that you've heard of Snow, so I don't feel like the old moron who's talking about something that nobody else knows? Surely people know this song. Have to know this song. All right, Jimmy's here for Otterlocks next. Maybe he's heard of it.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Paul, put up the Watermark thing just to make you work harder. Paul put up the Renaissance graphic. Now put up the Renaissance graphic. I want to go back to that one. I'm talking about the Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. But I would be talking about the Watermark. Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge. Beautiful. Voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. If you're listening, not watching, Paul puts the logos on the back screen, so I kept having to make him toggle back and forth doing that. And Watermark is beautiful. Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Gorgeous. The picture of luxury. Great place to host an event. Any event. Wedding reception. Corporate gathering. But so too is Renaissance Baton Rouge. Right there on Bluebonnet. More than 10,000 square foot of meeting space at Renaissance Baton Rouge. So it doesn't matter if you're at the Watermark downtown or Renaissance Southtown on Bluebonnet. Watermark and Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come, final segment, Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'd pay to listen to Football Sunday. Overwhelmingly, the contributors on Football Sunday loved Seattle minus 2.5, biggest bet I made. And for that, it ended up being a very nice, very profitable Sunday. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Hey, Otter. Jimmy?
Yes. Yeah, you got me?
Have you ever heard of Informer by Snow, a song?
No.
Can you play a little bit of it, Muse? If I play the song, you ever heard this? See, you're in the...
Yeah.
You've heard the song?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. Okay, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Great day yesterday. It was a little odd, It was kind of our last show on Sunday, and I was the only one to brave the weather, and just everybody was over the phone. But it turned out much for the best. How about the results yesterday? So we couldn't have been happier with the results yesterday. So
Broncos in the points, the under in the first game, Seattle minus 2.5. The only that didn't hit was Max taking the under on Puka Nacua. Like, that was blitzed in the first quarter. I was like, oh no, that's not going to hit. But other than that, man, great day.
Yeah, we had a great day. It's another profitable season. So,
Yeah.
That's hard to do for
Yeah,
a
man.
whole football season, for for the volume that you have. So,
no doubt.
ended. And I was just figuring out, let's see. So if the first possession overtime, they scored a touchdown, then they scored a touchdown, then they scored another touchdown, the most they can get is 20 points. We're still going to win this under in Denver. So.
Rock and share, yeah.
Oh, rock and share is always good.
Yeah.
Whatever. So,
What are we looking at tonight?
This is
Go ahead.
all right, we got limited college basketball.
Yep.
The Tuesday and Wednesday is by far the best, and we're going to have a nice, chunk of picks, probably about 5 or so on tomorrow night and the night after, as we shift a lot of our coverage. And it's been really fun, man. The college basketball season. One thing about it, everybody's eligible. It's high level of play, man. These teams are good in college hoops this year. And we're going to go to a really good matchup. Two teams are going to be in a field of 68. There's no doubt about that. But it's also a rematch. And we had this the first time. We had the loser the first time when Louisville was at home. It was right a pick. We start out great. We're rolling. And then, man, Duke much the best here and leans on them. They went by 11 at the Yum Center in Louisville. Now the return trip, they would have covered this number on the road. So I'm going to take Duke minus the 8.5. Rarely do I take Duke because they're always public, but I've seen enough of this matchup. And then the late one, boy, you talk about a great matchup tonight. In Arizona, probably the number one team.
1
by most
minute
people's
remaining.
account. the number one team in all the metrics in Ken Palm and NET and everything else. They're still undefeated in a brutally tough league as the Big 12. They also play a great non-conference. And then they go to Provo to take on BYU and A.J. Devonsa. He's one of 3 freshmen to score 40 this past Saturday. So I'm going with the better team, clearly the better team here. So we're going to take Arizona, road slight favorite here, -1.5.
Duke and Arizona, your 2 picks tonight. Where are you tomorrow?
We're at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson.
All right, man. Thank you, Otter. Good luck.
All right, good luck.
All right, man. Clayton Knight, John Voorhees, Craig Duga, Jeremy Fall, absolutely heard of Snow. Spencer Sanborn, everyone has heard of Snow. Nate Coles, born in 91. I didn't know the name of the rapper, but I've absolutely heard the song before. Will Davis, absolutely heard of him.
AFR.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.